Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Frankfort Village Board. Tonight is Monday, March 7th, 2022, and we call this meeting to order, and I ask our clerk, Katie Schubert, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Ledden.
Here.
Trustee Severia. Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Rossi. Attorney Mahoney.
Here.
Attorney Lamore.
Present.
Village Administrator Pisha.
Here.
Assistant Administrator Barika.
Present.
Chief Chalepis.
Here.
And Clerk Schubert is present.
Thank you, clerk. And I ask everyone if they stand with me now, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So our first item on here is unanimous consent agenda. And so everyone understands, all items on this consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. At this time, I ask if any members would like to remove any items from the consent agenda.
Mayor Ogle, I'd like to remove item letter D, number 1, Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance amendment, accessory uses and structures.
Okay, we'll be removing item D1. Any other items from any of the trustees? Okay. Then, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Petro and a second by trustee Borelli. We will go through each of these items in details. We'll read through them so that the people that are in the audience, as well as those who are watching at home or might be watching later, will understand what it is that we're talking about, what we're voting on. Also, as a matter of transparency, on the village website, the agenda is there, as well as a draft packet of everything that we are voting on and what we see. So all the same documents that might be there are available for the public to see at this point. So we have a motion and a second, and we will move through this. So first item on there was the approval of the meeting minutes from the February 22nd meeting. If there's no changes to that, then we will go to trustee Farina for the bills.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. For this month, the disbursements for our bills are as follows. For the general corporate fund, it was at $327,068.75. For the motor fuel tax fund, $63,800. For capital development fund, $221,783.16. For the sewer and water operations and maintenance fund, $113,454.78. And the sewer and water extension fund at $223,610.47, for a total of all funds at $949,717.16.
All right, thank you, trustee Farina.
Sure.
And we're going to continue on with you and committee of the whole reports on some outdoor cafe leases.
Excellent. Before us this evening, with regards to outdoor cafe lease agreements, is the following. At its February 9th, 2022 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed lease agreements between the Village of Frankfort and Fat Rosie's, Francesca's, and Trails Edge for use of public sidewalk and or right-of-way as seasonal outdoor cafes. Terms of the lease agreements include payment of an annual rent equal to $7 per square foot for 2022, $7.50 per square foot for 2023, and $8 per square foot for 2024 of public way that will be used for outdoor cafes. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to authorize execution of the lease agreements as presented. The first motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year lease agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Fat Rosie's Taco and Tequila Bar for use of 265 square feet of public sidewalk and or right-of-way adjoining the property commonly known as 28 Kansas Street as a seasonal cafe. The second motion before us this evening is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year lease agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Francesca's Fortunato for use of 506 square feet of public sidewalk and/or right-of-way adjoining the property commonly known as 40 Kansas Street as a seasonal cafe. And the third motion before us this evening is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year lease agreement between the Village of Frankfort and Trails Edge Brewing Company for use of 792 square feet of public sidewalk and/or right-of-way adjoining the property commonly known as 20 Kansas Street as a seasonal cafe. And that is all, Mayor Ogle.
Thank you, Trustee Farina. The next item that is on this agenda is an item that's been removed from the consent agenda and will be separated and discussed in a minute. But then we'll go to item D2, and we'll go over to Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. That item is the Kimsey residence at 240 Hickory Street. Homeowners Jason and Shannon Kimsey request the granting of a first-floor building materials variance to permit the use of non-masonry siding on a proposed addition to their existing home located at 240 Hickory Street in the Old Town area. The proposed non-masonry construction is consistent with the recommendations of the downtown residential design guidelines. The applicants also seek the approval of the Kimsey plat of re-subdivision, which is a proposed consolidation of lots 38 and 39 in the McDonald subdivision for the purpose of removing the existing lot line which runs beneath the existing home and proposed addition. At the February 24th, 2022 public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded 2 unanimous recommendations to the Village Board to approve the variance and re-subdivision request. The first motion in front of us this evening is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a building materials variation from Article 6, Section B, Part 2, G2 of the Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance to permit the use of non-masonry siding, cedar or fiber cement board only, on a proposed rear addition to the existing home located at 240 Hickory Street in accordance with the reviewed plans, public testimony, and findings of fact. The second motion before us is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation and approve the Kimsey plat of re-subdivision prepared by Studnicka and Associates LTD dated January 25th, 2022, consolidating lots 38 and 39 in the McDonald subdivision in accordance with reviewed plans and subject to any necessary technical revisions prior to recording.
Okay. And Trustee, you also have the next item on there too, which is the Williams plat of re-subdivision.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant, Elizabeth Williams, proposes to consolidate lots 57 and 58 within the Old Stone Village subdivision for the purpose of creating a larger lot for the construction of a new home. The proposed re-subdivision to consolidate these lots create a new lot which is approximately 32,681 square feet. Approval of a plat of re-subdivision is required to accommodate the proposed consolidation. At the February 24th, 2022 public meeting on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous recommendation to the Village Board to approve the Williams plat of re-subdivision. The motion in front of us is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation and approve the Williams plat of re-subdivision prepared by Studnicka and Associates dated January 25th, 2022, consolidating lots 57 and 58, which are 11388 and 11410 Vienna Way, in the Old Stones Village subdivision in accordance with the reviewed plans and subject to any necessary technical revisions prior to recording.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Borelli. At this point, is there any discussion on any of the consent agenda items by the board? Okay. Hearing none, we will go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Ledin?
Yes.
Trustee Farina?
Yes.
Trustee Petro? Yes. Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Then item that was removed from the consent agenda will now be considered separately. That's item D1, which was the Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance amendment. We'll go back to Trustee Borelli for the summary and the motion.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance amendment to Articles 1, 5, 6, and 7, and 12, accessory uses and structures. At the September 20th, 2021 Committee of the Whole meeting, village staff provided background information to the Village Board regarding staff's concerns with the village's zoning code in relation to accessory uses and structures. These concerns included an overall lack of clarity and usability, along with the increased number of variation requests for detached accessory structures, specifically sports courts and pool cabanas. The proposed text amendments were drafted with input and review from the village staff and the Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals. At its February 10th, 2022 meeting, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous recommendation to the village board to approve the proposed text amendments. I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance amending the Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Articles 1, 5, 6, 7, and 12, related to accessory uses and structures.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a second by trustee Petro. All right, at this point, we'll have discussion. Any discussion in opposition? We'll start first.
I'll make a comment. First, I want to thank Chris Gruba for working on this language. I know it's long overdue. We've had many questions throughout the years, and I think this clarifies a lot of the concerns that the Plan Commission and Village Board had. So thank you for all you did, and as well as working with the Plan Commission. There's just a few parts that I think we still need to review. We just had a meeting previous to this, and I was hoping we can table it to clean up some of the language in regards to allowing residents to testify. That's been taken away from them, and also in regards to property lines, I think the 10-foot property line item, people need to, we need to look that over and have perhaps, 10, 15, 20-foot considerations instead of the 10-foot. I think that's pretty close to a neighbor's yard. And there's a few other things. So I'm hoping in the future we can review this and amend it once again to clean it up a little further. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Farina. Anyone? Trustee Burley.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd also like to thank staff for their tireless work on this. This was, it was very incredibly vague, the ordinance, and so you've done a tremendous work, and special thanks to the Plan Commission, who's, I think, gone through three workshops to get to this point, maybe more. This is wonderful. It might not be the 100% solution, but we're in a much better position than we were. So thank you.
Okay. Trustee
Thank
Petro.
you. I do just want to again highlight the work of staff and the Plan Commission. It was with such thought around the processes, around whether it's a special accessory structure or special use, the evidence of photographs and discussions and roofs and pergolas, and it's all been heightened with I think with COVID, everyone started looking in their backyards and really deciding what they were going to be investing in. And even prior to that, really, we had a variety of different things that fell under that first, accessory structure. And this just makes it so much more cleaner for staff and for residents around their applications moving forward. One of the larger categories was around the sports courts, and that obviously will be another topic that we had postponed from meetings before, and I think that it does help clarify moving forward. So just a big thank you to staff and the Plan Commission on their work.
Okay. Trustee Ludden, any comments? No. Okay. At this point, we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. Go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Farina?
No.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
Trustee Ledden?
Yes. Okay.
With their split, only 3 trustees voting favorable, you would vote.
Okay. I vote yes to these amendments. And to previous point, this was a long time coming to clean up a lot of this language that's existed in a very vague state for many years. So we appreciate all the work that Mike Schwartz, Chris Gruba, and Janine Farrell before you've all done, as well as the Plan Commission moving this forward, and also our board to try to clarify some of these things. There's still more work to be done, and there's something new that comes up almost every time that there's a new application, something that you might not have anticipated, and we do continue to address those. But this motion is carried, and again, I thank all of you. The next item on here is Plan Commission item, and this was postponed from both the November 15, 2021 meeting and a January 18th meeting, and we will go to Trustee Petro
Thank you,
for
Mayor.
the summary.
The first item is the Mays Residence Accessory Structure Variance at 7403 Mayfield Drive Ordinance. And as you mentioned, it was postponed from November 15th, 2021 and January 18th, 2022. Homeowner Garland Mays proposes to construct an outdoor recreation area in the rear yard of his residential property located at 7403 Mayfield Drive in the Crystal Brook subdivision. The applicant seeks the granting of an accessory structure area variance from 144 square feet to 1,363 square feet to permit the construction of a sports court. At the October 28th, 2021 public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous recommendation to the Village Board to approve the variance request. The motion is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second reading, and pass an ordinance granting a variation from Article 5, Section D, Part 3K2 for maximum size of an accessory structure for an outdoor recreation area to allow 1,363 square feet, whereas 144 square feet is permitted for the property located at 7403 Mayfield Drive in accordance with the reviewed plans, public testimony, standards of variation, and the following two conditions. 1, the sports court shall be screened from view along the east property line as proposed on the property survey with landscape materials as listed on the landscape proposal, and along the west property line as approved by staff. And 2, no outdoor illumination of the court shall be installed.
Okay. Do we have a, are you making the motion, Trustee Petro, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Trustee Borelli. All right. At this point, we'll open up discussion from the board. If there's any.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, Mayor, appreciate the application and what you're trying to do, but we've just spent a lot of time going through the process of trying to regulate and balance what goes in the people's backyards, and we landed at a number of 650 square feet with the sports court. So I'd encourage, I'm going to vote no for it. I'm going to encourage you to come back with a smaller request. Just based on the size, I can't approve it at the size that's currently before us tonight. So just want to explain my vote and why I'm going to vote against it. Oh, sure, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you can't hear us, please, let us know if you cannot hear.
So we just spent a lot of time, the Plan Commission and staff just spent a lot of time the past 6 months going through the accessory structures, our ordinances. Previously, we didn't allow anything over 144 square feet, so anything above that, you would have to come for a variance, which you did before the Plan Commission, and many others have too. And they've gone through the past 6 months, and we just approved an updated text amendment to our ordinances for accessory structures and sports courts. And part of that approval was to increase the size of sports courts, or to allow sports courts up to a certain size. That size was 650 square feet. And so what you have before us is basically double that. And so because of that, now that we have a regulation in place, I'd like to abide by that. I don't want to, now that we just adopted these new rules, I don't want to approve something that's twice the size of that sets a bad precedent. So I'm going to vote no for it, and I'm just one vote, but I just encourage you to come back with a smaller version that now fits within our new updated ordinance.
When you say smaller, you mean 650 or smaller than what we asked?
Sir, please address the chair for the board here. And at 144 square feet, that was the rule when you applied. We've gone through the process to find ways with the surface coverage, impervious lot coverage, everything else, and it's been approved at now from 144 square feet to 650 square feet. The application you currently have is still out of that range. So there'll be a vote of the trustees on that in just a moment. Yes.
If I could, I would just give a brief summary of what the sports courts, so they're no
Sure.
longer going to be categorized as an accessory structure, but rather as an accessory use. The draft text amendment that was approved tonight includes multiple regulations for sports courts to ensure the appropriate size, location, and screening. Sports courts 650 square feet and under would be permitted by right, but subject to several conditions. Sports courts over 650 square feet would require a special use permit from the village and subject to several conditions as well. The Plan Commission and Village Board would still maintain the ability to deny a special use permit based upon the 7 findings of fact. So I just wanted to highlight some of the changes for you today that were coming out of that text amendment. And as Trustee Borelli and the mayor had mentioned, this has been an ongoing discussion within the village to address those appropriate size, location, and screenings as sports courts have increased in popularity within the village. And so I really do feel that the recommendations from staff and Plan Commission around this are appropriate, and I will also be looking to maintain that size and location and screening for any applications.
Okay. Not at this moment, but I will allow you to make some comments after the board is. Any of the other trustees?
Yeah, I'm really kind of curious, the Plan Commission, the chronology, I guess. So the Plan Commission gave a 5-0 unanimous for the size of this court. And then afterwards, they did the language that was just approved a little while ago. So I was just wondering if there's any insight as to why they went larger with this particular one, considering the conversation. If there's some hardship or there's some reason why there would be that exception.
Chris, would either you or Mike want to speak to Trustee Ledden's questions?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I guess I'd have to go back and look at the chronology. I do know that application was made some time ago prior to all of the regulations being looked at. So I think that they might have come, the Plan Commission might have come to the 650 square foot amount after they looked at the specific request. It was tabled a number of times. There was some overlap to it. I guess I'd have to defer back to the Plan Commission minutes if there was any specific hardship that they hung their hat on. So I wish I had a more clear answer, but.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Freeman, questions?
comment.
Okay. Mr. Mays, if you'd like to make a brief comment here, this is not, it's not a public hearing back and forth though, but
Okay,
we want to clarify any positions or questions that you may have.
yeah, I mean, I have a hard time hearing, so I'm not sure if I heard if something was already said or not. So if I say it, it's because I didn't hear you say it. When it comes to this court, we did apply for this way ahead of time when you said that it was 144 square feet. I pleaded my case with the ordinance now, with it being 650.
Yes.
I mean, when you get a court in the backyard, it's to keep it out of people's eye line when they're driving down the street and all of that. We talked about the noise level, how I would get a rubber flooring so it would be quieter. But if I put a court in my driveway, it would be bigger than 650 square feet, and it would be in the front of the house. So if I took the length of my driveway, if I took that length and that width, that square footage would be around what I'm asking for my backyard. So to put it in the backyard versus putting it in front of the house, I know you all would agree that that would be better than having a bunch of kids playing in front of the house, to have them in the backyard closed off where you can't see. That's my only thing that I wanted to say. I don't know if it's up for debate or not, and I respect it if it's not, but we're trying to do everything the right way. We talked about, we actually brought up all of the homes in the area that did not do it the right way, so we're just trying to do it the right way. So if it's 650, it is, but I know that you have to vote on it, but I just wanted you to take that in consideration. I could put one in my driveway and get the same thing, and it would be out in the front, and it would go against everything of the reasons why you're saying we shouldn't do it. Every reason that you give against doing it in the backyard, we could put it in the front yard, and you couldn't do anything. So it's just something that I thought of that I would bring up today. I would go down. I don't have a problem. If that's what you require, I'm going to do it by the book. If I have to come back and ask for a little bit bigger, but we've been through this process up to this point. I don't really want to go any further if I don't have to. So that's all I really wanted to say.
Well, Mr. Mace, just so you understand, 650 feet or smaller is permissible. And so that would be something to speak with Mike Schwartz. But the board is about to vote on this right now, too. So thank you for your comments. If there's no further, Trustee Burley.
Back and forth. But I do appreciate your comments. I know you've done a wonderful job. You're trying to do everything you can to make it right, and it's the challenge of the board because sometimes we get these really good homeowners that are trying to do the right thing. The issue is precedence. So then it's I don't doubt that you can put that half court in your backyard and do a great job and screen it and deafen it, and I think it would be probably great. But then how do we stop it from everyone doing it? And that's the challenge that I personally face with this. So I appreciate what you've done so far and your comments. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board? Okay. Then we will go, we have a motion and a second. We have discussion. So we'll go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Petro,
No.
Trustee Borelli,
No.
Trustee Ledden,
No.
Trustee Farina,
No.
Okay.
You would not vote,
We
Your
don't
Honor.
need to
Or
vote on this one.
Mayor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mays, I would encourage you to speak with Mike Schwartz and Chris and about getting your court size to the current, which is now 5 times what we had approved before too. So the next item on here, and we will go to Trustee Ledden for this one, is also an accessory structure variance that was postponed from January 18th, 2021.
Thank you.
That this be made and voted on separately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With this item having 2 motions before the board, I would recommend that these be made and voted on separately.
Okay. McCarthy does have, yes, there's two motions on this one. So we'll start with the first motion. But Trustee Ledden, if you want to read the summary and move forward.
Thank you. Item number 2 is the McCarthy Residence Accessory Structure Variances located at 22960 Hankins Court. Homeowners John McCarthy requests the granting of 2 variations to accommodate a previously constructed basketball court in the northwest portion of his residential property located at 22960 Hankins Court in the Crystal Brook subdivision. The applicant seeks the granting of an accessory structure area variance from 144 square feet to 625 square feet and a side yard setback from 10 feet to 6 feet to accommodate the sports court. At the November 18, 2021 public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous recommendation to approve the accessory structure variance and a split vote to deny the side yard setback variance request. The motion before us this evening, the first one, is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a variation from Article 5, Section D, Part 3K, for a recreational facility area, sports court, from 144 square feet to 625 square feet for the property located at 22960 Hankins Court, in accordance with the reviewed plan's public testimony. Standards of variation in the following 2 conditions. 1, no outdoor illumination of the sports court shall be installed, and 2, along the west and east sides of the sports court, landscape screening similar to what is existing on the northern side shall be installed and improved by staff.
Okay, this was the first motion. Can we get a second for this? Second by Trustee Petro. Okay. Now, is there any discussion on this item?
I'm just curious, this question for the attorneys. Since this is below the 650 that was just voted on, is it necessary to vote on this?
What is before the Board is an application that was submitted prior to that text amendment being approved, so it'd be appropriate for that application to be acted upon.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any other comments? Okay. Hearing none, we will go again to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
Trustee Ledden?
Yes.
Trustee Farina?
No.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Mayor Ogle?
Okay, I need to vote on this? Okay. All right, I vote yes. It's at 6:25.
All right.
That's 4 affirmative votes?
So that's 4, yep.
For
Okay.
the next motion that is before the board, as it was a split decision out of the Plan Commission, and it received a favorable recommendation. So this would require a vote of 2/3 of the trustees. So still a vote of 4 is required. Mayor, you would not be eligible to vote on this.
Okay.
Okay, so the second motion is to waive the first and second readings and pass an ordinance granting a variation from Article 5, Section D, Part 2, E, for minimum accessory use side yard setback west from 10 feet to 6 feet for the property located at 22960 Hankins Court, in accordance with the reviewed plans, public testimony, standards of variation, and the following 2 conditions. Number 1, no outdoor illumination of the sports court shall be installed. And number 2, along the west and east sides of the sports court, landscape screening similar to what is existing on the northern side shall be installed as approved by staff.
Okay. Chris, why don't we get a second on the motion here real quick, but you have some comments?
Sorry to interrupt. This might have been a typo, but it's actually
Trustee
set
Brewer.
back 6.5 feet.
Oh,
from-
6.5.
And I'm not sure if that came through, but anyway, thanks.
Okay. So there was a typo in the motion, and it should read from 10 feet to 6.5 feet for the property. Okay, so we have a second by Trustee Borelli. We have a motion and a second. We'll open this up for discussion by the trustees. Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, I just want to highlight some of the sport court changes that we discussed, which was the square feet, and also that sports courts shall be set back at least 10 feet from any side or rear property line. Sports courts shall be located in the rear yard only. Sports courts shall count towards the maximum total impervious coverage of lot, and that there will be no more than 1 goal, basketball, or otherwise permitted in the sports courts, and nothing over 15 feet tall. And so I just highlight those changes because I want to share with the applicant today that the work that has been ongoing with these sports courts, I want to remain in line with for today and for future precedents.
Okay. Any other comments from the board on this motion? Okay. Hearing none, we have a motion and a second, and we'll go to our clerk again, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Ledden?
No.
Trustee Farina?
No.
Trustee Petro?
No.
Trustee Borelli?
No.
Okay. All right, so that motion does not pass. And that required 4 affirmative votes.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll move into a different part of the meeting. That was basically the business part of it. We'll move into what's called the mayor's report. I'm sorry. Sir, at public comment, we'll have a spot for you. Okay. Okay. So the Village of Frankfort is currently accepting applications for appointment to the Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals. Residents who live in the Village of Frankfort who wish to submit applications for consideration to the Plan Commission appointment are encouraged to do so. The applications are available at the Village Administrative Building or at the Village website, which is at frankfortil.org. These appointments are made by the mayor with the consent and advice of the trustees. This is Fix a Leak Week. March 14th through the 20th, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is celebrating Fix a Week Leak, March 14th through the 20th. The average household leaks can account for nearly 10,000 gallons of water wasted every year, and 10% of homes have leaks that waste 90 gallons or more per day. Common types of leaks found in the home are worn-out toilet flappers, dripping faucets, and other leaking valves. There are some how-to videos and learn more about finding out and how to fix some of these leaks at epa.gov/WaterSense. This is on our website, fix-leak-week. And I have personal experience with this. Replaced a couple toilet flappers. We had a $300 bill at our shop that's normally $25 a month, and it looked like it was a twisted little thing. It's very simple to change out, but you can check these things, and it can be very expensive to do this. I also found out that it's good to read the instructions because you shouldn't use tank cleaners on things because it destroys the toilet flappers. We have a save the date here for everybody. The Spring on the Green event is coming up, and that's scheduled for Sunday, March 20th. It's from noon to 2 p.m. on Brighter Green. And the event is co-sponsored by the Village of Frankfort and the Frankfort Park District, and will feature music, carnival games, crafts, and much more. You can visit the village website for additional information. Just a reminder that daylight savings time will begin on Sunday, March 13th at 2 a.m. Set your clocks ahead 1 hour. And then also wearing green for St. Patrick's Day is coming up on March 17th. So please be sure to celebrate responsibly during that time. And that's all I have for the mayor's report. And we will go now to our board for comments. And we'll start with our clerk, Katie Schubert.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. Not much for me today, just talking about the outdoor cafe lease agreements makes me really happy to look forward to that on this cold, chilly day. So that was my most exciting discussion today. But that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Ledden.
Thank you. Don't have much with regard to comments other than what's been on my mind with what's happening in Ukraine. I mean, it's a terrible thing I thought we would never see in our lifetimes. And you know, my thoughts and prayers are with all those that are suffering through such an awful, awful experience. And I'm going to butcher this, but Martin Luther King said that in the end, we won't remember the words of our enemies, but we will remember the silence of our friends. So I hope that, you know, we all do what we can to try and help them during this terrible tragedy. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Ledden. Trustee Farina.
No comment this evening.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. I echo your sentiments. I also just wanted to echo Mayor Ogle's call out for the Plan Commission vacancy. And I just encourage anyone who's interested in getting involved in your local government to have a discussion with anyone that's, you know, on the Plan Commission. You know, I started on the Plan Commission. I think we've talked a lot about the work that they've done around text amendments, some of the things that they see from variances, and just really helping us to navigate, you know, what the town looks like from some zoning, planning, and it's a great way to get involved. So certainly have a conversation if it's something that you're interested. And then that's all I had tonight. Thank you, Mayor Ogle.
All right, thank you, Trustee Petro. Trustee Burley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just as we say goodbye to winter, I want to thank the Frankfort Park District for the work they did with the hockey rink. That was extremely popular. I think they moved it under and put it in the parking lot by Main Park, under the lights. And every time I went by there, it was really busy, and the staff was working really hard to keep it going. So thank you to the Frankfort Park District. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update. As you know, the village received a $1 million grant, or up to $4 million grant for our lead service line replacement program. It is a voluntary program, but we're basically trying to identify and help residents that may still have lead service lines to get them replaced at no cost to the resident. Right now, we've had 28 identified, and we are continuing with the project, and we look forward to hopefully completing that and having those replaced before the end of the year, but the program's going very well. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rob. And now we go to our police chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Megan Schleppus.
Thank you. I know many times during my report, we talk about the 9 p.m. routine and the importance of locking your vehicle and removing items of value. And as we hopefully move to nicer weather, I just also want to remind everyone that this is true not just when you're parked at your home. So whether you're visiting a local restaurant or we start going to sporting events as the weather turns nicer, or wherever you're going, just a reminder to please lock vehicle doors, not leave keys inside your vehicle, not leave your vehicle running, and to move items of value from plain sight. Additionally, quick trips, so if we're running in one place really quick, whether it's the dry cleaners or grabbing a cup of coffee, the same remains true. So please make sure you lock your vehicle doors, take keys with you, and not leave those items in plain sight. Speaking of coffee, tomorrow is our Coffee with a Cop. It'll be from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's at Butera. We welcome everyone to attend. Again, this is a great opportunity to have conversation, ask questions with local law enforcement, and to meet all of us. So we hope to see a lot of people there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. And now we go to our attorneys for the attorney's report.
No report tonight. Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Hannah. Is there any other business on the board? Tonight? All right. Now we go to what we call public comment. And if you would like to make a comment before the board, now's the time to come on up.
Good evening. My name is John McCarthy of 22960 Hankins Court. I just wanted to comment real quickly. Thanks for taking the time. Obviously, I'm disappointed. I would have wished to go in a different direction. I think something that to take on board, for what it's worth, is for the Mays residents who live down the street, I would personally be okay with the size that's being proposed. So as the language gets modified over time, and I realize a lot of work's been going into it, but I don't know if there's a percentage or something like that that can be looked at, because their size of yard with what they're proposing would not seem out of place as I turn into the neighborhood. So as their neighbor, I would not find that to be an eyesore or anything of that nature. In regards to mine, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I was ignorant of the rule, so I think just be cognizant of the fact that this is not what most people maybe realize, that they need to come and even ask the village to do something like that. They think it's their backyard. I kept it outside the easement. I talked to my neighbor. I looked at the HOA, didn't put it on the garage. So just, I think, be aware of that going forward. However you can promote that, get that word out there, whether that blurb is in every HOA's right on the front, make sure, and there's probably something on page 45 or whatever, but just, I think be aware of that, because my wife and I did not do this as a, hey, let's pull an end around the village of Frankfort. We did it as a, hey, let's put a basketball court up for the kids to play. So please consider that as you go forward. So that's all I had. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your comments, sir. Anyone else would like to make any comments before the village board? Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion by trustee Farina, second by trustee Borelli. All those in favor say aye. We're adjourned.